True hero, right?
Hero, yes.
Now, we've got to find out his story. I would all like you to meet this real-life hero. Pete, come on out. Sit down over there. Pete, do you have a last name? Heroes should have last names.
My last name is Fody.
Okay, very nice to meet you. When you first heard that call, what was your first thought?
Okay, well, when the call came in, I heard the screaming from a female, and it sounded like there was a domestic violence in progress.
That's what I thought when I heard it, that you were being beaten up and were screaming for 911. How did you calm Alex down and stay calm yourself?
I have no idea.
None. You don't remember a thing.
I don't remember how I stayed calm. I just knew I had a dad reaching out to me through the phone.
And that's all you knew, and you did the right thing. And you've gotten a reward, an award for it?
Yes, from the Clifton Fire Department. I received.
After, what I'm interested in is after you hung up the phone, what happens?
Well, as soon as we knew that the ambulance and paramedics and everybody was on scene, I hung up the phone and I looked over at Officer Stianchi and my other dispatcher, Pete Van Eneman, and we just kind of looked at each other like, thank God, you know, we got her. And it was like just the greatest feeling.
I know that Pete is your family hero. Now your chance to tell him what you would like to tell him.
Yeah, he is a hero. Definitely
He is.
to us.
He's a hero, and you know, he'll always be in that place in your heart where you have people that you care for.
Can we give him a hero medal?
Oh,
Would
yes,
that be all
definitely.
right?
Definitely.
You put... Now, you wrote each girl a letter. What did the letter say?
Well, I have it with me. I wrote this letter to each of the girls a few days after the incident. My husband happened to be in Africa at the time that this happened. It was the middle of the night, and I was alone, and I needed to speak to those girls. I wrote, I am so glad that you're alive and hope that you're feeling better by now. There is a little girl in town that I have especially enjoyed watching grow because I delivered her when she was born before the doctor could get to the hospital. I call her my baby. You and the other girls are going to be like that now, too. When I see you, I will always feel like you are in some way my special girl.
That's great.
Rachel has always wanted a sister, and on Tuesday, I think she got 5. I don't feel like a hero. Anyone could have done what I did, but I thank God that I was there to help at the right time.
This is, of course, Rachel. Rachel, you put that around your mom's neck. Is that okay? By the way, surprise, there's somebody here today who wanted to thank you. Melinda and Gail, come on out. Is this your new sister, Rachel?
Yeah.
Right. What a story. Did they ever find out what happened?
Yes, they did. There was an old furnace in the building, and the heat exchanger cracked and put a very large amount of carbon monoxide into the air very quickly. And the girls did not even know that they were losing consciousness. They just got to feeling sick to their stomach.
Dorrie was driving along on a busy highway when suddenly the car skidded and flipped over. She was thrown from the car and critically hurt. She had massive head injuries, a punctured lung, a severed liver, cervical fractures, and a broken leg. Dorrie, do you remember any of that from the moment of what happened? Impact, was it? Do you remember any of it?
I hate to say no, I don't remember. Well, I'm glad I don't remember that part. But I have been told that I was very lucky that 2 detectives were driving down on the highway on the other side of the road, and they saw me in the road. Cars were passing by me, and they stopped their car and ran over the median, and they were Ed and Gary. Gary stopped the traffic, and Ed saw me in a pile of blood coming out everywhere, and he cleared my airways. And I started breathing, and he was holding my neck because he noticed I was pretty beat up there. And my legs started going, flapping in my arms, and I was yelling, let me go, I gotta get up. But he restrained me, and it was pretty good that he did, because I did break my neck. And they rushed me to the hospital, but if they weren't there, you know, it could have been, if I, you know, moved at all.
So the right thing was not to let you move at all. Were the cars speeding by you? Did they tell you?
That's what I heard. Gary had to stop the traffic. They were keep on going right by me.
So somebody had to stand there and say, no, you can't do this.
Right, they had to totally stop it.
How do you thank somebody for saving your life?
There aren't words that could justify it.
What happens when you think of these two men?
Oh, God. It's like a spiritual thing, you know?
In other words, they'll always be part of
Oh,
you.
definitely.
Okay, Dorrie? I know you haven't seen Ed since right after the accident. And consciously, you've never met Gary. Are you ready to meet him now? I'm going to let you.
And someone said get help, and before I knew it, there were about 6 policemen on the bus. And I just said, don't let him die. And they carried him. It took 6 of them to carry him off the bus.
Now, we must tell you that he's how tall?
He's 6'5", and at the time he weighed 250.
250 pounds.
When they got him off the bus, there was a stretcher in the street,
Already.
2 ambulances, and immediately they tore off his clothes and they paddled him.
Ripped my best suit.
Oh, well.
Filed a bill with the city. They didn't send me the money.
What are you thinking, Barbara, while this is happening?
I keep saying it was like watching a movie. This wasn't really happening. I couldn't believe what I saw, the way they worked together. There was no confusion, there was no screaming. They all had a job and they did it.
And they knew how to do it that quickly.
I just remember I was trying to hold his hand and they were paddling him and they kept pulling me away. They said, you can't hold his hand, we're shocking him. But other than that, they revived him at least twice on the street.
Twice on the street. And then he went in the ambulance?
He went in the ambulance and they wouldn't let me go because they were still working on him. And there were 2 policemen, police officer Esposito and Manera took me to the hospital. And they didn't just dump me at the door, they came in. And one of them stayed with me while the other went to see how he was. And they called my family. By that time, I was a lunatic. I couldn't even remember my name.
I know that the 2 paramedics who brought Bill back to life are heroes. Can you explain how you feel when you think of them?
Yeah, my heroes were always sports figures until that day. It's hard to talk, but how do you...
I had a nauseous feeling, and then it was like fading out. The lights went dim, and once it went dim, that's all I remembered.
Was there, like they say when you're going to die, like a long tunnel or a light or anything?
I didn't see any tunnel. No.
Nothing?
There was...
Okay. I know you want to thank Randy for being your hero. Hugh and Randy, come on out. You knew he was going to make it because he fought you, right?
Yes.
The whole time? Mm-hmm. What do you want to fight them for?
I didn't know I was fighting.
Is it true? Tell him.
Yeah. When we got to his house, the amazing thing about the story is when we got to his house, he was talking to us, and as soon as I saw him, I recognized that he was having a heart attack. So I told Randy to get some help, put him in some oxygen, took his vital signs, and we were preparing him to get out of the house. And when we had him in the chair, he just started going, and I said, Randy, this is serious. And we were trying to decide now whether or not to take him and put him down on the floor or take him downstairs. So we decided to go downstairs. He was a little, heavy at the time, and the weight didn't really matter to us. We got him downstairs just like that. I mean, we didn't even feel the weight. We just got him downstairs, got him in the ambulance. When we got down there, he was in full cardiac arrest, and we started working on him. The other ambulance arrived, and we had to shock him 4 times. And every time, we shocked him,
he came, and he went back. He was constantly fighting.
It's something you'll never forget.
No.
Would you please give them their hero medal?
Yes, gladly.
Well, they're all on the rope and you're sailing down the river. What did you think?
Once I got on the other side of the bridge, they had another catch line there, and I was able to catch on to that for a moment, but with one hand, I really couldn't hold on after that length of time that I'd been in the water. So after that, I ended up letting go off of that catch line, and that's when the rescue, 2 policemen jumped in off the top of the bridge after me.
They jumped in.
I believe that's what I'm told.
Meaning they put their life at risk, because it could have been 3 people floating down the river. They put their life at risk to grab you. They grabbed you, and what happened?
Well, I was underwater at the time, and I was just trying to hold my breath and do the best that I could. I remember feeling hands grab me, and I knew then that I'd be okay.
Ken, the trooper who saved your life, what would you like to say to him today?
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay, let's bring him out and you tell him directly. Ken, come on out. Ken, you're wearing an Illinois badge. Is that the state?
Yes, ma'am.
Ken specialized in underwater search and discover, and he had just come on shift when he heard about the creek incident. You just jumped in hoping to catch her in time with no equipment, just a life jacket?
Yes, ma'am.
How did it feel?
Disbelief, I think, at first, that it was happening, and second, that you just know that you have to do something.
All right. I think you're really a hero, and we are proud to present you. If you will please give this to... This is a home for babies who really need love. Take me back to 1969. What were you doing in 1969?
Let's see, 1969, I was 2 years old and I was driving a car.
That's not
going
true.
home.
Not Where does it say you lie to the host?
I apologize.
But how did you get started doing
well,
this?
I was leaving my mother's house and I was driving home. I was a little older than 2. And I saw a woman sitting on a box. And that was the time of heroin addiction in New York. And I drove off, but I'd gone about 5 blocks, and I said, let me see what was going on there. I went back, I parked the car.
You went back?
I went back, I parked my car, I got out of the car, I walked over to the woman, and I said, I think you need some help with that baby. Because she had a package on her lap, and I looked and a little arm came out. And I said, my mother takes care of children, so I quickly wrote my mother's address on the slip of paper, and I said, you probably seen my mother, little lady with children of all races. Gave her the slip, got back in the car, went home. The next morning, like 8 o'clock, it was a Saturday, and I received a telephone call from you-know-who, mother. And she was furious. You sent a drug addict to my door? Girl, what's the matter with you? I said, I didn't send it. And then I remembered, so I told her the story. She was not impressed by my story, not at all. No drug addict in her house. But I said, the lady has a baby. Mother said, she doesn't have a baby. So she said, oh my God, I left my door open. She went running back, and she came back. She said, do you know she left this baby on the door sill? And went away. And that's kind of how we got started. No money. We raised all of our own money. We had our neighbors who helped. They came in as volunteers. They worked with us.
50 lives. Please welcome a real hero, Ginny. Ginny, come on out. Come on, Ginny. Ginny, come on, hon. Come on.
Ginny.
Call Ginny. Call Ginny.
Ginny.
Call Ginny. Come on out. Go on back.
Come here, little girl. Come on. Come here. Ginny, get up here. Ginny, Ginny. Come here, little girl. Come up here.
Okay.
Come on,
Philip.
Ginny.
Ginny is the dog. Philip is the owner.
Come on, Ginny.
And
Come on up.
he, not only that, but he's written his dog story. This is called The Dog Who Rescues Cats.
Ginny.
The true story of Ginny. Philip says Ginny has a sixth sense about danger. Would you explain this to me? He loves cats?
Yes, she loves cats.
Rescues cats?
She rescues them.
And has saved 50 lives?
Over 50.
Over 50 lives. How did you discover this talent?
One night I was walking her, and she...
By the way, where does she come from? She's not a full-bred, is she?
Ginny's a mixed breed. She's a Terrier Schnauzer and Siberian Husky.
All of those. And where was she? Where was she?
She's a shelter dog.
She comes from the Humane Society?
Yes, she does.
Oh, we're very pleased to meet you. A lot of our good friends come from the Humane Society. Okay. Did you pick this one particularly?
She picked me, actually.
Yeah, I know how that is. I've gone into a shelter. They kind of decide. So what happened? You were walking her one day.
There was an abandoned building, and she ran in there, and she knocked over this pipe, and inside were 5 kittens, which someone had thrown inside. They were about a week and a half old.
Well, we can't give her the medal. What we have to do is meet one of the people she saved. I'm sorry, one of the cats she saved. Please welcome Spot. Well, that's Spot, and Spot and Ginny are good friends?
Yes.
Is she one of the kittens that was saved in the pipe?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, do you let me, Ginny, I would like to, on behalf of everybody. Ginny!
Yeah.
Hello?
Right, she's right
yes.
here.
On behalf of everybody, I'd like to give you one of our medals.